Noble judges, my teachers, today's audience and my co-debaters. This is me, Kanishka Vyas, in front of you, and today I'll be speaking in the favor of the motion, believing that yes, 15-year-old teenagers should also get the right to vote. Why? Let's move to our constitution itself. So we know that in our country we have two kinds of parliament. One is the normal parliament and the second one is the national youth parliament. And there, the youth is empowerment. But you know why it has been in existence in so long? Because our constitution believes that it is the young minds that need to be empowered. It is the young voices which needs to be encouraged. So when youth empowerment is supported by constitution, then why suddenly giving the voting right comes out of empowerment? I don't understand this. Now let's move to the international thing. According to the International Policy of International Convent on Civic and Political Right, its 25th article stated that voting right is not a privilege that needs to be given at 18 or when someone turns to 18. It is a right which should be equal and given to everyone on universal basis, regardless of any personal characteristic, be it even an age or maturity level. Because जब हम वोट देने जाते हैं, we don't conduct any kind of maturity test, so nobody can just raise a point of immaturity here. And also, the countries like Austria and Brazil have already lowered the voting ages to 16. And इतिहास भी गवाह है that it has always been the young minds and the young voices that have raised their voice for a change and against any heinous things or crimes that have committed to them. So we should also look at this and not overlook this part or aspect of our history or the present. Now, for most of the people who would say that neurologists have said this or said that about maturity or the prefrontal cortex, so many of the neurologists and many of the scientists have also said that the prefrontal cortex of the brain is already slightly developed enough to make the political decision. So disregarding the political decision making or giving the voting, not giving voting rights to a school-going student of age 15 or 16 becomes totally unjustified and remains questionable. So we moved on from the constitution to international policy and also looked at the scientific aspect and also went to the historical aspect. I totally believe that not giving voting right to a 15-year-old or 16-year-old girl or a boy is not right. And like everyone says that we need to learn, we need to have the civic education. No, when you are learning something, it is better to practice it and do it in the real life as well. You just cannot read a moral story and read the what is moral is until and unless it does not become effective, until unless you don't adapt it in yourself. आपने पढ़ा कि अच्छा honesty is the best policy. Until unless you yourself don't become honest, you cannot state that this statement is correct. So you need to first आपने जो भी पढ़ा है like education and you become socially and politically aware under the guidance of your teachers and parents. So giving voting rights totally becomes justified. That was all from my side, and I believe that the teenagers like me, 15-year-old teenagers like me and my fellow mates should be given voting right, not because we lack maturity, but we lack representation. Because the policies that have been formed for us, we must have a say in that as well, because that is shaping our future. And once the future has been ruined, we cannot have a say, because representation is where the revolution begins. And if we want a change, we need to bring the change in the policies as well. Thank you.
And so-called popular institutions of the city, I welcome and very gratefully feel now thankful towards James sir and his team for allowing me and requesting me to come and attend this brainstorming excellent session. I feel highly privileged to see that children of this very school are so outrightly motivated and encouraged academically as well as logically.